All right, today we're doing spaghetti and meatballs, melt in your mouth, basted meatballs, and perfect spaghetti. Hi, I'm Leo Damien and welcome to Taste This. I've spent much of my life in the kitchen with my large Italian family in Italy and New York. I've worked every position in the restaurant business. I want to show you the heirloom techniques and dishes I've learned from the 8 matron cooks in my family. You gotta taste this. All right, the first thing we're gonna do to make our spaghetti and meatballs, and we want to make them without frying them, is get an onion, a large onion, and chop it up in small pieces and put it in a pan with some olive oil. And we're going to slowly saute these onions. We don't want to brown them, we want to make them translucent. And slowly saute these for about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. Then we need some tomatoes. We need some San Marzano tomatoes. I like them whole, the whole tomatoes, and I can use my food mill and process these tomatoes through the food mill so I get a nice solid puree, not very fine puree, but a little bit of a chunky puree. You can use a food processor as well, or you can just get a tomato that's already crushed. But look at that beautiful crushed tomato look. It's just perfect, not too thin, not too thick. All right, let's put some garlic in our onions and continue to saute those onions and get a little bit of oregano, a little dry oregano in there as well, and just continue to saute up. Remember, don't brown them. We just want to get them translucent. And then when we're ready, what we want to do when we're ready, we want to take this onion and garlic mixture and take half of it, only half of the mixture, and put half of the garlic and onion into the beef, into our ground beef. Now we've got a couple of pounds of ground beef there, and we're going to put our half onion into that couple of pounds of ground beef. And the other half of the onion, we're going to put it back on the stove and put our tomato puree into that onion mixture and let that cook down for a while. And then we're going to add a little bit of salt. We always want to add salt and adjust for salt and for seasoning. Take our beef and we're going to start blending our beef. We're going to add a couple of eggs into our beef. We want to add 1 egg for every pound of beef. So we get that egg in there, and then we want to add our breadcrumb and fresh mozzarella. We've got fresh mozzarella, not the dry one, this fresh wet mozzarella. Put a cup of fresh mozzarella in there and sprinkle it. Make sure it's chopped up in small pieces. And start blending that all together. Get your hands in there and just work that. Work it together so we get a nice blend of that beef and that egg and that breadcrumb, and then make these little meatballs about the size of a golf ball, maybe a little smaller than a golf ball. Then we want to put those golf ball meatballs into that tomato sauce and baste them in that tomato sauce for about 15 or 20 minutes. All right, we got all the meatballs in the sauce, and now we just have to let this cook at a gentle rolling boil for about 20 minutes. Just gently, not too hard, just a gentle boil. All right, so now we've been going with our meatballs in the tomatoes for about 25 minutes now, and they are done. They are ready. So I am going to move these to the rear. And we're going to put some pasta in our pan. Get a little oil in the pan. Get some pasta in the pan. I let my pasta cook in the water until it was very al dente. And then I stopped the cooking and I put my pasta in this pan with a little bit of the tomato sauce and let it finish cooking up and finish that last bit of cooking in the tomato sauce. So the pasta absorbs some of that tomato water. All right, now we're looking good. Now, let's plate this up. Go. First with our pasta that's been cooked. And then we're going to go with our meatballs. Now, these meatballs are juicy, They are so juicy because there's not been anything fried. They're just boiled. They're just soaking up all that tomato. And there's mozzarella inside the meatball. Get a little bit more sauce on top of that meatball. Let's go with a little bit of Parmesan on top. Oh boy, we got ourselves spaghetti and meatballs. Now, this is a spaghetti. The pasta was cooked in the water first, then cooked in the tomato. The meatballs were boiled in that tomato. There's mozzarella inside the meatballs. Ah, wow. All right, let's go for this. Oh, man. Oh. Spaghetti, I love spaghetti. Then the meatball. Oh, look at the inside. Look at the inside of that meatball. You see that mozzarella in the center of that meatball? There's mozzarella in there.